The Vorthak Empire had ruled the galaxy for 3 millennia. Their bioships pulsed through hyperspace like living nightmares, organic hulls bristling with weapons that could crack planets. They called themselves the Alpha species, the apex predators of the cosmos. Every civilization that had ever challenged them had been consumed, their worlds stripped bare, their populations integrated into the Vorthak collective consciousness. Until they encountered Earth. Jack Morrison floated in the command center of the UES Defiance, watching the tactical display with grim satisfaction. Around him, the bridge crew worked in tense silence, their faces illuminated by the cold blue glow of holographic projections. The Vorthak fleet stretched across the screen like a cancer, thousands of bioships, each one capable of devouring entire star systems. "Status report," Jack called out, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were about to attempt. Daisy Chen, the ship's quantum engineer, looked up from her console. Her usually bright eyes were shadowed with exhaustion, but her voice carried unwavering determination. "The quantum resonance cascade is ready, Captain. All dimensional anchors are in position across the target zone." Jack nodded, studying the alien armada. 3 days ago, the Vorthak had issued their final ultimatum: surrender or be consumed. They had given humanity 72 hours to comply, a gesture they considered magnanimous, having never before offered any species a choice. The aliens had made one critical error in their arrogance. They had underestimated what humans could accomplish when their backs were against the wall. "They still don't understand," Daisy murmured, her fingers dancing across quantum field equations that would have driven lesser minds to madness. "They think we're just another species to be catalogued and consumed." The Vorthak had classified humanity as a Class 7 civilization, moderately intelligent, technologically primitive, utterly unremarkable. They had observed human conflicts, noted the tendency toward self-destruction, and dismissed Earth as a minor acquisition. They had never bothered to study human history closely enough to understand the pattern that emerged when humanity faced extinction. Humans didn't just fight back, they evolved. "Incoming transmission from the Vorthak Prime vessel," the communications officer announced. The main screen shimmered, revealing the grotesque form of a Vorthak overmind. Its translucent body pulsed with bioluminescent veins, and its multiple eyes focused on Jack with predatory interest. When it spoke, the words emerged as a psychic emanation that the ship's translators converted to speech. "Human Captain Prey," the creature intoned, its mental voice carrying undertones of hunger. "Your time allotment has expired. Prepare for integration into the Alpha Collective. Your species' biological distinctiveness will be preserved in our genetic libraries." Jack stepped forward, his expression calm. "I have a counter-proposal." The Overmind's body rippled with what might have been amusement. "Prey species do not negotiate with the Alpha. You will be consumed. Your thoughts will feed our consciousness. Your bodies will strengthen our vessels." "Here's the thing about humans," Jack said, his voice carrying across every channel in the galaxy. "We have this peculiar habit of defying expectations." He gestured to Daisy, who nodded and initiated the final sequence. Around them, reality began to hum with barely contained energy. "You call yourselves Alpha," Jack continued. "You've spent 3,000 years believing you're the apex of evolution, but you made one fundamental mistake." The Vorthak fleet began to stir, their biosensors detecting the quantum fluctuations building around them. Alarm pheromones flooded their collective consciousness as they realized something unprecedented was occurring. "You assumed that intelligence and evolution follow your patterns," Daisy added, her voice carrying across the comm channel. "You believe that consciousness must be collective, that strength comes from assimilation, that the apex predator wins by consuming everything else." The space around the Vorthak armada began to distort. The fabric of reality itself seemed to bend and twist as the quantum resonance cascade reached critical frequency. "But humans," Jack said, "humans are something you never encountered before. We're not apex predators. We're persistence hunters. We don't win by being the strongest or the fastest. We win by refusing to give up." The Overmind's multiple eyes widened in something approaching understanding. "Impossible. No species can manipulate quantum fundamentals at this scale. The energy requirements alone would require the complete conversion of matter to energy across multiple star systems," Daisy finished. "Which is exactly what we've done. 47 uninhabited systems voluntarily converted by their stellar populations. Every star, every planet, every asteroid, all willingly sacrificed by the civilizations you've terrorized over the millennia. The truth hit the Vorthak collective like a psychic sledgehammer. Across the galaxy, species that had hidden in the dark spaces between stars, survivors of worlds the Vorthak had consumed, had emerged to offer everything they had, not for revenge, for hope. You see, Jack explained as the quantum cascade reached its crescendo, humans have another trait you never bothered to study. We inspire others to be better than they thought possible. The dimensional anchors activated simultaneously. Reality folded in on itself around the Vorthak fleet, creating a pocket universe, a quantum bubble separate from normal space-time. Inside this bubble, the laws of physics operated according to human specifications. The Vorthak bioships, evolved over millions of years to exist in normal space, began to dissolve. Their organic technology, dependent on the specific quantum foundations of the prime universe, simply ceased to function in the artificially created reality bubble. "This is not possible," the Overmind transmitted, its mental voice now tinged with something the Vorthak had never experienced. Fear. "That's what every bully says when someone finally fights back," Daisy replied. Jack watched as the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known simply faded. Not destroyed in fire and violence, but erased from existence itself, locked away in a dimensional prison where they could never again threaten another species. "Status report," he called. "Quantum bubble is stable and isolated," Daisy confirmed. "The Vorthak fleet has been completely removed from our reality. They exist now in a pocket dimension with no connection to normal space-time." Jack nodded, then opened a channel to the entire galaxy. "This is Captain Jack Morrison of the United Earthship Defiance, transmitting on all frequencies. The Vorthak Empire has been neutralized. They have been removed from existence, not destroyed, but erased from our reality entirely." He paused, looking at Daisy, who smiled despite her exhaustion. "To every species that contributed to this effort, to every world that sacrificed everything for this moment, you are free. The Alpha species is no more. Humanity stands ready to help rebuild what was lost, and to ensure that no force like the Vorthak ever again threatens the galaxy." As the message propagated across the stars, carrying hope to civilizations that had known only fear for 3 millennia, Jack Morrison and Daisy Chen stood together on the bridge of their ship, having accomplished the impossible. They had not merely defeated the Alpha species. They had proven that sometimes the greatest strength comes not from being the apex predator, but from refusing to accept that such a thing should exist at all.